Hey, it's me, Laura. Welcome back. So today's video is going to be pretty short, but I get a lot of questions about my tattoo on my chest, and so I just wanted to tell you about it a little bit. And I'm not going to talk about the other tattoos that I have. Maybe if people care, then I'll do a little tattoo tour later on. But this is the one that I get the questions about, so that's what I'm going to talk about. So this, I got this tattoo in 2010, so 7 years ago. I was 28, and I got this at a time in my life when there was a lot of transition, and I had been working office jobs, 9 to 5 type things, for nonprofit organizations, and I really loved it, but I was just looking to do something that felt a little more creative and fulfilling in ways that those jobs weren't. So I decided to finish my degree, and because I had gone on a hiatus, and that's a whole other story, but I decided to go back to school, and to be able to do that in a timely fashion, I could not work a full-time job and have mental health. Basically, I know some people could do that, but it wasn't gonna work for me. So I ended up taking a job with the organic produce co-op that I had been volunteering for. And so that was a nice part-time job. And then I went back to school full-time. And then I decided, this is amazing. I really love this. I'm feeling really fulfilled and excited about the future. And this woman named Karen, she had told me about this poem by the poet Mary Oliver, who is amazing. If you have never read any of Mary Oliver's work, you should go check it out. She's a contemporary poet, and she writes about nature and just really, like, I don't know, she speaks to my soul. Sometimes you just read something by someone and it hits you. Well, I looked up this poem and it just hit me. And this was actually before I decided to go back to school full-time and quit my job. And so that was really a big catalyst for me deciding to make that very large change. My lifestyle had to change a lot. I really had to, cut down and not buy all the things and go out and, travel and whatever. But it ended up being like such a good decision. And so let me scoot you back a little bit. Okay. So this says "married to amazement," and it is a phrase from the poem "When Death Comes" by Mary Oliver. And I had it surrounded by 2 flowers that are really important to me. So over here I have a peony, and over here I have a chrysanthemum, and they're just 2 flowers that I'm really drawn to. I always have been. And in fact, when I later got married, because I got this way before I met my husband, when I later got married, we had chrysanthemums at our wedding, and it was really nice. So "Married to Amazement," and the stanza that it's from, I just wanted to read it to you. So it's towards the end of this poem, and I'm going to link it below, or maybe I'll put the full text, we'll see. So the stanza says, "When it's over, I want to say all my life, I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms." And when I read the poem, it hit me, and then I kept reading. I read it multiple times a day, every day for so long, and just the whole thing. It's just about, when I die, I want to look back and say, I did this shit. I really took the chances. I loved hard. I worked hard. I played hard. I did all the things. I really just went for it. The very last line of the poem says, "I don't want to end up simply having visited this world." And I just think it's amazing. So I got this, sorry, I'm still sick. I got this on my chest, and that was intentional because I wanted something that would be front and center. I'm always going to see it. It's a constant reminder, and it is, you can cover it up. I can cover it up, but it's not the easiest thing to cover up. Lots of things have a neckline that dips down, and I purposefully did that because I don't ever want to have a job where I can't have this tattoo. And so that does limit me, you know, from some work environments. And so that was on purpose. So my tattoo artist name is Eric Del Rio. I got it here in Houston, Texas. He and his wife have their own shop. And he's really amazing. He's known for his lettering. He's like really well known in the Houston area. So if you're looking for a tattoo, I wholeheartedly recommend him. He was really great to work with. He has a nice gentle touch. So common questions are, did it hurt? Hell yeah, it hurt. It's awful on the chest. It's really a painful spot, and I knew that it was gonna hurt. Obviously, it's a tattoo. It's not my first tattoo. But it's over bone, and like I have a lot of natural padding, but still, like, oh my gosh, it really hurts here. Like if you are thinking about getting a chest piece, just know it really hurts, and the skin is sensitive. But the thing is, like, once they start, like, you kind of have to finish because, you know, you don't want to walk around with like a half-finished chest piece. The whole thing took 4 hours. So I just did one sitting. It was pretty quick. You know, the lettering, it's just, you know, line work. And then these flowers are only kind of partially shaded. And this one is pink. This one is purple, but it's faded a lot. So I'll probably have to get this retouched because people are like, did you just get that? Like, are you going to get it colored in? And I'm like, it is colored in. So eventually, you know, I'll probably go back and do it. I know it's going to hurt, but that's okay. It'll be worth it. I would like it to be more colorful to help match this one. And while I'm at it, I'll probably get this one touched up as well. And I would like to add to this eventually over time. I'm getting more flowers, and I have lots of tattoos that I would like to get, but I always like kind of prioritize other things over them, even though if I had like endless amounts of money, I would be totally covered in tattoos. So this tattoo is super meaningful to me. It is a really beautiful reminder to myself to stay true to, you know, what I really want, what my soul will feel fulfilled by. And that really comes through for work or relationships, like everything. It just says, it's just a reminder to me to like stay married to the amazement in this world. Don't let things that happen derail me or get me down, and like to just keep going and focus on the amazing, cool things that happen, the possibilities in life, the potential that I see in everything. I love it. I don't regret it at all. I've had it for 7 years now, which is, you know, a goodly amount of time. Although in the grand scheme of things, a pretty short amount of time. The only thing that drives me crazy about it is that because it's so prominently placed on my body, strangers are always commenting and asking about it. And I'm not one, I never ask a person about their tattoo because I know how that feels. And people think, oh, well, I'm just curious. And like, that's fine. And if you were the only person like that day that asked them about that tattoo, it would be fine. But think about the fact that if you are a person with visible tattoos, like every store you go into, probably at least 1 or 2 people are going to comment or ask about that tattoo. And so think about how that adds up over the course of the day, and it just gets really tiring. And then people, sorry, I have a cough drop. People feel like entitled to know personal details or to like get the story. But in reality, like, do they really care? No. Like, just in this moment, they feel curious. But in the grand scheme of things, like, they don't care. Or it doesn't really impact them. Like, they don't need to know. But then people feel so entitled to know that they want to ask you. It's just like, it just gets annoying. Like, people want to know, like, the deep meaning behind this and explain everything. But, like, this interaction is so quick. And, like, you're going to forget about this in 5 minutes, you know, or less. So I get a lot of people asking, and if I'm in the mood, then I will tell you about the poem, I'll tell you about Mary Oliver, I'll tell you about my transition, I'll tell you all the things, you know, but I'm not always in the mood, I don't always have time. I may have already explained this to 5 other people today. So sometimes they say, oh, what does that say? And I say, it says married to a Mason. Oh, what does that mean? What do you think it means? And usually then they don't want to think about that, they just kind of give up. And sometimes people really do seem to care. And if I can tell that somebody really is like being thoughtful about it and they do care, then I'm so happy to talk to them more about it. But just in general, like, I don't like small talk with strangers. And so it just often feels like small talk to me. So I don't know, like, you might be a very different person than me, and it doesn't bother you if people ask you about your tattoos or like want to know more. But I also deal with people comment, like, just in general, outside of tattoos or with my other tattoos, deal with people commenting about my body. Because as a fat person, as somebody whose ethnicity sometimes is like, they can't figure it out and they just want to know, I just get like, I'm like kind of a crazy person magnet or like a busybody magnet. And so people just ask me crazy stuff or they say crazy stuff to me. And so I think in general, I'm just a little more sensitive to it because it happens so much. And so, like, I have people that will come up and, like, you know, if I'm wearing something that covers up a little more, they'll like touch my clothes and move it out of the way to see what it says. This has happened to me on my chest and on my calves. Like, don't touch my body. That's inappropriate. And so I think I just kind of come from that kind of space. And so, you know, it's always cashiers, like, it's very well meaning and nice, but it just gets old after a while. And like, sometimes I just don't feel like talking. Sometimes I just want to buy my groceries or my nail polish or whatever and leave and not have to talk about like my body. But you know, I did this on purpose. And I will say, sometimes when I do explain it to people, the conversations that we have are really wonderful and amazing and impactful, and I feel like kind of inspired at the end, and I think they feel a little inspired at the end. So I'm not saying I never talk about it or I hate when people do it. I just kind of am throwing out there, if you've never thought about this, like, think about the fact that people who have a lot of tattoos, when you ask them about it, if they are not like super forthcoming, maybe it's because they get asked about it a lot and like they just don't feel like talking about it right now. And if you do, and somebody kind of gives you a very short answer, just accept that and like move on. Because if they want to talk to you about it, they're going to talk to you about it. Anyway, that didn't need to be so long and like bitchy sounding, but it's just like the realities of having a super visible tattoo. And I live in Houston where it's hot, and I wear a lot of like, you know, small tank tops and, you know, whatever. And so it is visible a lot of the time. So, but even with all of that, I would totally get this tattoo exactly in the same place over and over again, like no regrets. I love it so much. So if you have any questions about tattoos, or if you want to do like a tattoo tour and like hear about my other ones that I have, comment below and let me know. Also, do you have super visible tattoos? Do people like touch your body? Have you ever had that happen to you? Do people ask you about them? I want to know. So comment below and tell me like your tattoo stories also, because I'm really curious. And I will see y'all in the next video. I hope you have an awesome day. Bye.